Hi, everyone. It's a bit stressful to follow Jesse J, so I prepared like a quick dance. No, I'm not. I prepared something else, something that I want you to take after this 15-minute talk. It's one conclusion. Creative is the most important data set that you have. It's not only a great storytelling, it's not only images, ideas, it's a massive data set, and this is our journey. This is how we turn creative into thousands of different data points, and why we think it's the most important thing today if you want to optimize your creatives, if you want to get more out of your media. Creative is data. When I prepared this talk, I realized that I actually stood on this stage 12 years ago when I was at Meta. This is, I think, a photo from 2013. And back then, Meta introduced mobile as advertising, and people were really skeptic around it, very cynical. But then mobile became like the biggest thing in advertising. I think that creative as data is the biggest thing that marketers should expect in the next few years, and I'll explain why. Let's start with a quick digital marketing memory lane. Digital marketing started like 30, 40 years ago, where CPM was introduced to buy media by reach. Then Google came in, and Google introduced keywords and interest. Facebook came in, and Facebook shifted to think about demographics. If you want to find women, 20, London, love Beyonce, want to buy lipstick, we will have them. It didn't really work, and then Facebook introduced lookalike audiences and audiences, and that was most probably the first introduction into AI and kind of like black boxes. Facebook was able to say, we know who your audience is, and we can find similar people. Why similar? We don't know, trust the algorithm. And if you've been to Meta talk yesterday with Shruti, it's the same message. Trust the algorithm. AI knows better. So lookalike audiences worked fantastically, and then GDPR happened, and iOS 14 happened. I worked at Meta back then here in London. It was a massive catastrophe within Meta, and I'm sure at Google. And then Google and Meta responded with, Google introduced PMax. They said, you know what, forget about keywords. We can find the right audience, the right people across platforms. Again, trust AI. Meta introduced Advantage Plus, same messages. TikTok joined the party, and they introduced attention as optimization. So if someone has attention to something, this person is relevant. So this is where we are right now. AI, black boxes, you don't know who you're targeting, everything is automated, creative is important, attention is important, and creative is the new optimization. And again, if you've been to Meta session yesterday, that was the same message that Meta are sending to their partners, Google, TikTok. Creative is the new optimization. The one thing that they don't tell you is actually what makes creative really work. So what is the secret sauce in a creative to make sure that their algorithm will bring you the right audiences, the right performance, the right results? And this is exactly what we're doing at Alison, and I want to take you through a journey of what we're doing when we're working with brands, with agencies, into turning creative to data set. So we're starting by scanning the creative. We have 10 different AI engines that try to understand everything in the creative, and it can be millions of different elements. It can be colors, sounds, where the logo is located, where the text is located, different environment, indoor, outdoor, beach, city, different backgrounds, contribution of influencers, call to action, concept, atmosphere, facial expression, product presentation, how fast the video is transitioning, how many scenes there are, what are the benefits, and what is the value proposition. So we scan everything, we break it into thousands, if not millions of different elements, and we want to make sure that marketeers, advertisers, brands, agencies understand that every data point matter. And I'm going to take you through why it matter. The second thing, after we broken the creative into data sets and actually brought numbers into everything, is to start understand how each and every one of these elements, hundreds, thousands, millions of elements, are correlated with performance. And I want to take you through some of the things we identify and some of the results that we're seeing. One thing that clients look at first when they're starting to use our platform is the impact of different concepts. The AI automatically identify the concept. And why is it important? Because we started to see that it has a direct correlation to performance in the platform and between the platforms. So we're starting to see that different platforms prefer different type of concepts. Why? I don't know. This is the black box of Meta, Google, TikTok, etc. But understanding the concept, understanding the performance around it makes a lot of sense. And this is a screenshot from our dashboard. And you can see that, for example, after scanning all of the creatives of one brand, we could identify that product-oriented creative delivers 160% ROAS, and lifestyle-oriented creative delivers 150% ROAS. So you can start to see how concepts are correlated with success metrics. By the way, we can do this analysis all across the funnel. So for top-of-the-funnel objectives like video views and brand lift, up to mobile app installs, conversions, cost per action, etc. Next element that we can identify also automatically is atmosphere. And this is like 2 examples. We have like tens of different examples into different atmospheres and how they correlated. We can understand if it's like chic atmosphere, funny atmosphere, seasonal atmosphere, etc., etc. And again, this is an example of how it looks like and how even different atmosphere is correlated with success metrics. In that example, Cozy delivers the best ROAS and the lowest CPI, and Active is actually delivering the lowest ROAS and the highest CPI. This is for a sport brand, and they thought that actually doing an active creatives will deliver the best results. We were able to prove that actually Cozy delivers the better results. Something that we're seeing with CPG brands and fashion brands is that there is a lot of impact into product placement. So how the product is presented in the creative. And we're seeing with CPG brands, for example, that there is a difference between product in packaging, on display, in users' hands. And again, I'll show you another example. This is impact on view-through rate and upper funnel objectives. So when the product is on display, the highest VTR. When the product is in packaging, lowest VTR. It's not a rule of thumb. I'm not saying just present products on display. I'm saying that you can actually track everything. And I'll show you in a second, between different platforms, you will definitely see different results. So it's important to understand what's in the creative. Banks. We are working with few banks, and we can automatically, for example, understand things like messaging. And we can automatically understand if this creative talks about loans and which type of loans, and again, how the messaging is correlated with success metrics. In this example, the bank was interested about CTR and cost per install, and you can see that, for example, creatives with loans around emergency delivers the lowest CPI, and the highest CPI was for car. So it's not only for the creative team or the media management team, it's actually for the BI team. So you can understand a lot about your consumers and how they're interacting with your creatives. So again, every data point matters, and it's extremely important. And the next part is to understand how every tiny tweak improves performance. So now that we have all of this data, we can start evaluating how changes in the creative will drive better performance, how adding things, removing things, replacing things, keeping things, how they will contribute to success metrics. And one example that I always love sharing is logo. You would be amazed by how placement of logo or even size of logo are correlated with success metrics. And we've seen many cases, and I'll share again, this is a screenshot from our system for one of our accounts. You can see that logo on top left deliver view-through rate of 3.2. Logo on top right, just moving the logo to the other side of the screen, cuts VTR by half. So even small things, nuances of location, of text, of logo, of colors, make a massive difference, and this is why it's your new optimization. Another thing that we're seeing is that when you're taking the same creative, let's say between Reels and TikTok, the analysis and the recommendations will be completely different because the AI of Meta is different from the AI of Google and TikTok, and the audience is different, and as a result, the data needs to be different as well. And we can see in many cases that clients got different recommendations, that in Google they need to place the logo here, that's the best practice, and in TikTok remove the logo, and in Meta put a large logo. So you have tools to understand how to optimize what you're doing on every platform. It goes the same way for text location. I've seen differences between placing text on the video. Simple things like post-production can completely change the performance of your creative, again, if you know what's driving performance. One thing that we're seeing is that platforms, and again, I don't know why because I didn't write Meta algorithm or Google algorithm, is that in some cases, platform favor something. We worked with one of the largest CPGs in the world, and we could see difference between product being prepared versus product being tasted. And on one hand, Google was very vividly favoring product being prepared, and Meta very vividly preferred product being tasted. Why? I don't know. But now when you have this knowledge, when you have this understanding, whenever you're planning your next campaign, you can start to say, well, you know what, creative team, this is what Google prefer. Let's maybe think about something that will serve their algorithm and feed this beast, and do the different things with Meta, do different things with TikTok and Snap, etc. Number of scenes, also very important, and we can also analyze that. How different scenes in the video are correlated to different performance metrics, and this is where I would bring the creative agency or the creative team, because now, whenever they're planning storyboard, they have the data to support their assumptions, and you can start to see what will work better for the brand and across different platforms. And it's not only between platforms, we can also do this analysis per audience. So different audiences will respond differently to creative, and we're always recommending to start breaking the analysis and start filtering it by audience, also filtering it by duration. So we're seeing differences of analysis when short videos, long videos, and also different stage of the funnel. If you have one creative and you want to just apply post-production and serve different parts of the funnel, fantastic, you can do it with small iterations that will serve different parts of the funnel. So the takeaways are these. Creative is a massive data set. Think about it like that. Understand how every part of the creative is correlated with performance metrics. Understand how it's different by platform, audiences, duration, part of the funnel. And the last thing, iterate to maximize media performance. This is your new optimization. Creative is the new optimization. Meta know what they're talking about. TikTok know what they're talking about. Google know what they're talking about. And now you have the data. You have the power to get more out of your media budgets. So I'm Elad. We're going to be here. Talk to you if you want to reach out to us. That's my LinkedIn. We have cool swag. If you want to come, that's the incentive to come and speak to us. And we want to talk to you about how to turn creative into data and to share about our experiences from working with brands, with agencies, to turn creative into data, iterate, and get more out of your media budgets. Thank you very much.